AITA for telling my brother that his crush dislikes him because he's an asshole, not because he's too smart. So I have a younger brother, 13, who is a child prodigy. I won't give too many details, but he's well known in the academic circles of our country and attends an institute of higher education. Naturally, people are impressed with his intelligence and he's quite popular and makes friends easily. Our parents dote on him and have never told him no. As a result, he has become very arrogant, condescending and disrespectful to people he deems below him. That's just about everyone. Lately he's been openly talking about a girl he's crushing on, and much to his dismay she's quite unimpressed with him. He often complains to my parents and I about his failed attempts to befriend her. I understand why she dislikes him. On one occasion he invited her over for a school project and I overheard their interaction. He was constantly talking over her, dismissing her ideas and even calling them stupid. 99% of the time he was talking about himself and his accomplishments, being in news articles, his future plans etc. The poor girl obviously seemed uncomfortable. Quizzed her about her career aspirations, and when she answered he proceeded to point out it's a bad career path. Today he was once again complaining about her and said that she's obviously intimidated by his superior intellect. He claimed that all girls only like stupid guys and that women are emotional. Sadly, my parents agreed and kept assuring him that this girl is obviously uncomfortable with the fact he's so accomplished and awesome. After hearing this nonsense many times, I finally told him that his crush dislikes him because he behaves like an obnoxious, know-it-all asshole. He explained that he'd probably have a chance if he showed some modesty instead of talking down on this girl so much. So my parents obviously think I'm an asshole for saying this. They said that it was horrible of me to say this to a 13-year-old and that he's just a child. I told them that he needs to realize that his personality is becoming a problem and that his crush dislikes him because he's an A, not because he's too smart. AITA? This reminds me of a scene in The Social Network. You are probably going to be a very successful computer person. You're going to go through life thinking that girls don't like you because you're a nerd. And I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart, that that won't be true. It'll be because you're an asshole. NTA. Sometimes the truth hurts. NTA. Your parents are most at fault, however. They're raising a narcissistic monster. They need to teach him manners before it's too late. NTA. You actually are doing him a favor for him to learn this lesson now. Your parents are setting him up for failure. Regardless of intelligence and ability, a huge part of success is also likability and the ability to get along with others. I have seen several brilliant people get nowhere because of their complete lack of emotional intelligence. NTA, please continue giving your brother a dose of reality since your parents seem to be determined to raise him into an incel. It was a little wake-up call since he seemed genuinely perplexed. Like his brain couldn't compute that his behavior will cause people to dislike him. I absolutely blame my parents who worship the very ground he walks on. AITA for saying that my kids are not my greatest accomplishment and that I resent the assumption they are. I love my kids, but they are not my everything. I had a whole lifetime before. I ran marathons, climbed mountains, wrote a novel that was published and did moderately successful in the noughties, and have an MFA in creative writing. Chatting with some folks in the neighborhood, we got to talking about our greatest accomplishments. When it came to me, Tom said, "Oh, well, we know what your greatest accomplishment is, obviously. You have 3 boat a day I fucked up well-behaved children." I was honestly shocked, and I said no. That's not my greatest accomplishment. He looked just as shocked, and I said what my greatest accomplishment is, and then said, and by the way, I resent the assumption that having kids is my greatest accomplishment. You have kids, why didn't you say that? He said how he didn't birth the kids, and how that's a miracle of life and all that gag me shit. I just rolled my eyes and said let's not boil women down to their biological functions. Jen, who has kids, chimed in and said, well, my kids are my greatest accomplishment. I can't imagine thinking anything else. Tom looked super smug. Others, including other moms, chimed in. All of the moms agreed their kids were their greatest accomplishment. I kind of stewed about it. After that, the woman who chimed in sent me a message asking me if I needed to talk to someone, and asked if I was depressed, because my statement was worrisome. She ended up reaching out to my husband to encourage me to get help, because it seems I'm unhappy being a mom and that puts my kids at risk. Am I really the asshole here for thinking being a mom isn't the end all be all of my life? Like, WTF. Edit, why are people sending me chats instead of posting? Don't send me chats. I'm just going to ignore them. And no, Ask Goblins, I don't want you to read my post on your shitty YouTube channel. Also, Lucia Paxiola, who cross-posted this to AmItheAsshole, my greatest accomplishment is actually climbing Kilian Denali. The same summer I knocked off the final 14 years of the contiguous US states, with my now husband. But go off with thinking it's bad to be proud of having a MFA. NTA, you are spot on. These women are defining themselves by a biological function. In theory, it's the raising of those offspring that would count more, and include smug-faced Tom, if he has kids. NTA, if anything it sounds like they might be a little bitter over the fact that you have accomplished so much. Edit, guy went out and came back to my first gold and an award. Thank you, kind strangers. Edit part 2, thank you so much, kind stranger, for the silver. NTA, Tom and Jen are absolutely the ass here. Holy cow. I'm a mom and it strikes me so oddly that people call kids an accomplishment. Like they're a step to check off or something. They're human beings to raise and shape into good people, not things. I honestly can't get over the nerve of Jen to message your husband that garbage, and I sincerely hope he told her to F off. AITA for telling a girl to check her privilege. My school made the switch from paper to laptops/iPads 2 years ago, and since then you can really see whose parents have money. I'm currently using some Asus my uncle gave me because my family are below the poverty line. He bought it in 2011, and although the battery is shot, it still runs and Word works, so I don't need much else. There is a pretty big financial divide in my town, and thus a large divide in the school, which is one of 2 secondary schools. A girl in my class posted a TikTok where she was rating people's laptops/iPads. She recorded mine, which was plugged in with its external hard drive, and you could very clearly see the left side of the screen that is broken. She rated it a -3/10 and wrote, poor girl, and zoomed in on my shoes to prove a point. My shoes are fine, they're just not Air Force Ones. Other laptops that weren't the latest MacBook or the latest iPad got rated pretty low. One of my friends showed me her video, and I confronted her about it. She seems really sheltered and I asked her to take it down. She refused, so then I told her, saying that it's incredibly classist and I don't want that on the internet. She still refused and I got madder eager each time. Eventually I just said, check your fucking privilege. Not everyone can afford a €2,000 laptop and not everyone fucking prioritizes flashy over functional. She hasn't taken down the video, and my friend who showed me it says I overreacted and that made me an asshole. She said she's just sheltered and I shouldn't overreact like that. It is not a crime to record someone without consent here, regardless of how old said person is. If you want me to reply to anything, inbox it to me. I'm in AITA jail. Guys, even if I wanted to report this, I can't. It won't work too well in my favor, regardless of how you take that. Whole account has been suspended, no replies for 3 days lads, sorry. NTA, not understanding that not everyone can afford new electronics equals sheltered. Identifying that someone is poor and dragging them for it equals asshole. NTA, please show admin this video. It's cyberbullying and it's being filmed directly in the school. If they get wishy-washed about it, be assertive. This was filmed in the school without my permission. I have now been out on the internet specifically with the intent to mock me. This is cyberbullying and an invasion of my privacy. Deal with it before I go to the media. I say this as a teacher. Cyberbullying is hard to deal with for schools because it happens outside of school hours. But in this instance, it's very clearly done at school. It will be a PR nightmare for them. Make them deal with it. NTA. Her video is essentially bullying everyone who doesn't have the latest Apple product. Personally, I'd report the video to the school. They were incredibly short-sighted to switch to digital without providing the hardware themselves. There's an option to purchase from the school, they won't give one to anyone. NTA, the girl and your friend are the asshole. Report the videos to the school.